everyone, and welcome back to the Birth Exchange Podcast. I'm your girl, Midwife Christine, and I am here with the best birth team and birth professionals in Atlanta on the south side of this town. Okay? Y'all, this is a collective of just Black excellence. We're all working in our passion of birth, right? And in the capacity that we want to. And it is just so important for mommies to be able to understand that care is out here for you. The services you need are out here for you. And there are women out here working really damn hard to help you achieve the goals that you need and you want for your birth and your babies and your families, etc. Right?
That's right.
All right, so let's get into it. Who are y'all? Let's start with Marika Spicer.
Hello, I'm Marika Spicer. I am the owner of Precious Peaks Ultrasound Boutique. We have 2 locations, one in Canton, Georgia, and the other in Tyrone with Birth by Grace. So I provide ultrasound services, be it level 1 ultrasounds or level 2 ultrasounds, meaning people that may be in the special case category as well. And that's what I do. Been doing it for about 3 years independently, but we're just trying to get the information and the data to the midwives so that we can make sound decisions about birth.
Beautiful. And we're going to talk about how we work collectively together to service moms. Jada Metcalf.
Yes.
Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
Tell the people who you are.
I am Jada Metcalf of the Milk and Honey Company. I am from Atlanta, and I am a birth doula, lactation specialist, certified breastfeeding specialist, community health worker, just recently maternal health consultant.
Hey.
So
Yes.
I'm adding all the things.
It.
I have a location with Christine right in her office. And I pretty much service Atlanta South, primarily up north, but just so delighted to have the opportunity to do home birth with you. And it's just been pretty divine that I've always had Christine as my midwife. So, I'm just so happy to be here and a part of this collective.
We're happy you're with us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My work wife, y'all know Dawn. If you are loyal, you know Dawn Hutcherson. She is my work wife.
So I am Daunty. I am BBG, Seek Me, all the things BBG. I am just passionate about what I do. I love the work that we do for our community. I'm very passionate about Midwife Christine, and I'm just here to serve. Whatever capacity that, entails.
So I love that we have created this collective, if you will, right? Because I think that it's important how we are able to seamlessly be in sync with each other to help meet the needs of mothers, right?
I agree.
It's time for moms to really start to think outside of the box when it comes to their births. It's time for moms to start seeking the services that they want for themselves that may not look like the medical, industrial way of doing things.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Because we know that system is continuing to fail us. It continues to fail Black women. And so it's just time to take control of your experience when you're expecting a baby, especially how you want your body, how you want to be cared for, how you want to be treated,
Sankofa.
how you want to walk in your journey of childbirth. And it's important for women to know that you have to take the reins in that. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love that we work alongside each other, be it in the birth space, be it prenatally, because I feel like we are able to offer mothers the basic things they need to have a positive outcome in their births.
Absolutely. And I think that we as BBG, we support home birth primarily, but ultimately you can come to BBG for any type of support. You can deliver in the hospital, We still have resources,
Right.
right, that you can tap into that may not be provided by your current OB support.
Right.
Right.
And we just provide other resources that may be beyond the scope of just your pregnancy, right?
Correct.
Mental support, physical support. You may need a chiropractor. Does your OB provide that? There's just things that we, provide resource-wise that may not be
Run of the
not
mill.
and what
Yeah.
women don't know is not, for instance, right, when we talk about breastfeeding support, not all hospitals have a lactation consultant on staff.
That's true.
Shock to me.
But I'm having a baby in your institution, in this facility, but yet there's still resources that are lacking to support me in that, right?
Especially after you leave the hospital.
Oh, that's a whole different
Oh,
thing.
Because my experience was after I had my children, the lactation consultant came around for that one day for like 10 minutes and then she left. And now I got to go home. And unfortunately, I didn't know about lactation consultants and, all the things for after the fact. So I think it's important to, in this system, not drop moms after the baby's out. Like you need a continuum of services after the fact, even if you choose a hospital birth.
So the ideal birth team integrates different people, different roles, different professionals that are experts in every part of care, right, when you're having your baby.
Right.
I'm a midwife. I take care of moms during your prenatal care. I do your prenatal care. I will attend your home birth. I will support you in your decisions and present you with different options available to you. Midwives also help postnatally after you have your baby. There's a whole life after that you need help with navigating. So that's my role. The doula's role. Jada, you could talk more about the doula's role and how that helps mothers.
Education.
Yes.
So, I try to, it can be overwhelming, but unload the most important parts that they need to think of to take control, of the situation. But I like to look at it as kind of a precursor to the midwife. So I kind of labor with you emotionally. You dump on me all of those fears, those type of things. And just to kind of guide you into your labor when it's time to call, Christine. But, just making sure that you understand how the body works, the sensations that come along with it, the fear that can come with it, how to deal with the fear before birth comes, because it will come back up. And that's the last place you wanted to show up, is your birth. But also, like she said, a continuation of the care. So once the baby's here, I'll still come back, for a couple of weeks just to visit and make sure, specifically with breastfeeding, that is going well. And I may see, my client more than her OB or even Christine because of just breastfeeding support, because it takes an intimate amount of time to really teach a mom how to breastfeed. And, not only do they need to be patient, I need to be patient too with these babies. So, as far as a birth doula, I may take it a step further, but just to make sure that they know I'm there, and if you have any questions, as long as it's not clinical based, because I'm going to send you back to Christine, but, just prenatal education, what's going on, what's happening when active labor is actually starting. And then if we need to go back to Christine, we do, or Dawn, I go to Dawn first before I mess with the midwife. Like, Dawn, let me ask you some questions before I call Christine.
So, Marika, tell us in what capacity you support mothers.
Okay, that's an excellent question because it kind of goes beyond the scope of just looking at the baby.
Yes.
As an ultrasound technician, I can assess a mom's ability to become pregnant before they become pregnant.
Wow.
I am an expert at assessing the uterus, the shape of the uterus, how it's positioned, are there fibroids, where are they located, would that inhibit implantation? So we are able to answer those kind of questions using ultrasound as a medium. Once the mother becomes pregnant, we're able to assess the viability of the pregnancy. Is this a pregnancy that is going to progress? If it's not going to progress, what is hindering it? And we can kind of facilitate. Well, me being a high-risk specialist as an ultrasound technician, I'm able to facilitate stops and stop things from happening where we can by working with other professionals like perinatologists and things like that. And then as we get closer to birth, when we're looking at a mom who may be about to go post-dates, we can assess is the uterine health still viable to support the pregnancy, to continue to endure, and then we can make certain choices about needing to induce if we need to. After babies come, ultrasound is still important because sometimes you can have what's known as retained products, where the placenta didn't fully come out and mom is continuing to bleed. So even after the fact, ultrasound is needed to assess that and help doulas and midwives decide what we need to do next to facilitate completion of birth.
So what I love about your service is that moms can control this thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mothers can directly book with you.
Yes, direct on the website. And that's
So you don't need a doctor to get your ultrasound if that's what you want.
That's correct. And that's why I set out to do Precious Peaks the way that I did, because as a mother who has been through the system, both as a worker in the system and having to use that system in order to birth, I noticed I didn't have control over when I wanted to be seen, by whom I wanted to be seen. My experience as both working in the field in these big conglomerates that do ultrasound, it's not intimate, it's not personal.
Correct.
And so I just set out to create a service that met the need beyond just let me take a look at your baby and see you on your way. Like, I believe in education. I believe that a lot of Black bodies, specifically women who are living in Black bodies, don't understand their body. And
That's
so
very true.
I make it a point during the ultrasound to also educate what I'm looking at, why I'm looking at it, how it impacts your pregnancy.
So it's very different, the visit with you, because you're able to it's family centered.
Yes.
So your other children can come, your spouse can come. It's a very intimate space.
Yes.
And you take time with the clients, explaining what you see, what's going on. So that is what really sets you apart, I think, from the conglomerate type of system.
Yes.
Where there's just more of a personal touch.
Yeah.
And I love our families love that.
Well, good. I'm glad to be able to support you guys. And I was going to say the benefit of me being in-house with VBG specifically is if you're in the middle of your visit and I'm there and Christine sees something, she's like, I think we need to look. I'm like, hey, yeah, she could come on over right now. Just cross the hall.
Right. It's very
and we
convenient.
make it work. And we
Very
support
convenient.
each other. And I answer your questions that you need answered. And we make it happen.
We really do.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say and, testify that I've been able to contact you, Marika, at any point that I've needed to. Christine may have a comment or a question about something that was done last week, and I'm able to pick up the phone and say, hey, Marika, so it's been very cohesive and just a really good relationship.
Good. Happy to be here. Happy to support.
It's definitely working. Because I keep using the word intimate, but it is a very intimate service. I mean, aside from the service that we're providing, which is very intimate, just the system. It's like, it's not multi-layered. It's a very easy, seamless. You need this. Let me refer you here. Let me text such and such and see what, you know what I mean? That's what I love about how we all work together.
Yes.
So moms, whoever is thinking about conceiving or planning a pregnancy or growing your family, I think we all agree with education being first, right? Educating yourself now versus later is the best way to go. There's so much information that you can attain, right? And it can, quite frankly, be a little bit overwhelming if you let it be, right? But the basic foundational things, right? How, healthy lifestyle before pregnancy and during pregnancy and nutrition and how to prepare my body. I want to breastfeed. How do I, start learning about lactation and my breast and my anatomy and how my body makes milk, right? If I have a pre-existing issue in my uterus, how can I explore that? How can I, so being very proactive about your care when planning pregnancy, I think is probably the best advice that I could give, right?
Yes.
So another thing we do want to highlight is that we do support all mommies with all birth plans. It doesn't have to just be a home birth plan. I mean, we have lots of families we support in the hospital setting and preparing for that experience as well to be the best advocate you can be for yourself. But in each of your specialties, can you give moms or women planning to have a baby any advice as far as from your specific perspective?
Okay, for my field, as I mentioned earlier, you want to be checking for both uterine and ovarian health. So, it's nothing wrong with getting what we call a preconception ultrasound to actually assess the gynecological makeup and make sure you have a healthy uterus that performs optimally and make sure there's no structural issues. So I would suggest that.
Okay.
As far as breastfeeding, definitely take a class. But I've had people that not even pregnant take my class, but they
Beautiful.
know that they're going to breastfeed when that time does come. So I try to tell people if they're in that space, childbearing years, surround yourself with people that do breastfeed. Of course, you'll never see two in the same room at the same time, but finding that support now, taking the classes. Find a lactation professional that you might have scouted on the TikTok or
Right.
and get to know those people. But that's how you get to know them, taking the classes, and you can see how they would mesh well with your family. And with me being a birth doula, I do encourage people to do the preconceptual, like she's saying, get the ultrasounds, especially with Black women suffering from fibroids.
Yes.
Correct.
And that has been something that has come up in a lot of my hospital births, preventing women from having vaginal births. So if you can get on that prenatally so that you understand where they are, the placement,
Correct.
you can make better choices for how you want to birth. But start now. Don't wait until you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times pregnancy paralyzes people. They kind of freeze up, or they go
Absolutely.
too far, or they don't do enough. But with so much information, if you start before you get pregnant, you kind of build layers of education. And just through life experience, you kind of, understand what's going on. But I love that, the education is on the forefront. Learn your body first.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And, when girls are having periods, that's when we start.
That
Let's
part.
learn
That's
what is
right.
going
That
on.
part.
So we have to have these conversations before we jump into relationships and getting
That's
babies,
right.
so that you understand when you have a period and when you don't.
Absolutely.
When to get pregnant, when not to get
absolutely.
pregnant. So, that's the best advice I can do is prenatal, start before you're ready to have a baby.
Yeah.
I think this is so important because we know the rates. We've heard the maternal mortality rates and the morbidity rates among Black women. And I think that when you learn about other providers such as ourselves providing care and who are rich with resources and information and education, I think that's the first step to combating what we've been hearing for the past few years, right?
Yeah.
Proactive.
Proactive,
I feel like,
yeah.
and
Just
I feel
becoming
like just being
proactive.
innate,
Yeah.
following what your body is saying to you. If you go to an appointment and it doesn't resonate with you,
Right.
maybe that's not the setting
That's
for
not
you,
good. Yeah.
right?
And not being afraid to say that.
Correct.
Not being afraid to
And
Not
if we're
being
32,
afraid
not being
to
afraid to
use
accept
your
the fact
voice
that this is
Hello?
not working
is
for me.
what is getting. I mean, from what I see these powerful women outside of the hospital.
Yes.
Then we get into the hospital and they
And we're mean.
acquiesce.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they
yes.
cannot speak up for themselves. And it's just something as simple as, yes, skin to skin, because you have a barrage of people coming in asking you the same question that you stated no to, giving you 4 different views on whether it's breastfeeding or how we should move forward. But it's just using that voice inside. If it doesn't, like you say, resonate with you, speak up, so that you do have the opportunity, to have other options, available to you. But a lot of what goes on in the hospital is just us not being able to take charge of what's going
That's
on.
the part. It's like
Take
you can
charge.
be the leader of your care.
You can. Don't panic.
You
Take
can be the
charge.
leader and you can be an active participant.
That's
Yes.
right.
You don't have to allow people
That's
to make decisions for you.
That's right.
And don't do yourself the disservice of not asking questions or knowing what questions to ask, because you're going to be set up. You're going to be set up.
With
period.
a smile.
Yeah, straight face.
And I think doing a disservice for yourself, not being prepared, right? When we don't have a birth plan, we don't know what vitamin K is, right? we're in the moment trying to figure out what vitamin K is, right?
Yeah.
But if we have a plan, we have a birth plan, we're preparing beforehand, we have a doula asking us all these intricate questions that will come up when we're not cognizant enough
That's right.
to answer
That's
those
correct.
questions, right?
Oh yeah.
And you can have an OB. You can
That
have a
doesn't matter
midwife.
what setting.
You can have an OB. You can
Correct.
have a midwife. I don't care if the midwife is at the practice or not.
Exactly.
You can hire a private midwife to help navigate your care with you. You know, you need a doula. You need a lactation support person. You need some alternative medicine professionals
That's
to help
right.
you during your pregnancy and your body. So on this season of the Birth Exchange podcast, you are going to hear from a lot of birth professionals in the alternative health space and medical space. We even had a conversation with an OB physician. That was a very good conversation. I mean, it was very eye-opening. Okay, Marika, how can our audience find you?
Okay, so again, I'm Marika Spicer with Precious Peaks, and we can be found on Facebook, Precious Peaks. You can reach us at our website, www.preciouspeaks.org, and we're on IG under Precious Peaks as well.
Perfect. Jada,
Yes.
mommies that are in need of some support, honey.
Oof.
Be it doula work, be it doula support, be it lactation, breastfeeding.
I'm here
How can
for
they
you. I'm
find you,
here.
girl?
Birth, postpartum, lactation. You can find me on IG at Milk and Honey, COATL, not to be confused with restaurant. Keep going down a little bit further.
Right.
On Facebook, the Milk and Honey Company, all spelled out, and my website is www.milkandhoneycoatl.com.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for having me.
This looked fun. Girl.
Yes.
I want some back.
Mommies, if you are planning to have a baby or you're just in need of some information and education to help you along to even start your journey in childbirth, please, we have something for every mommy, regardless of your birth plan, be it in the hospital, be it home birth, be it just resources for education or anything that you might need. Please reach out to Birth by Grace, Midwfery. But we're also going to be addressing a lot of these concerns during the season of the Birth Exchange podcast. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for having us. And we'll see you on the next episode.